Hi guys, we are going to be reading out of the book today. We are going to read pages 140 through 145. You should already have your book out and ready to go. So let's go ahead and start on page 140. That's a landform. Is there a riverfront avenue near you? What about Mountain Drive or a hill street? Where do you think these names come from? A delta forms at the mouth of a river where sediment weathered and eroded by the river is deposited. Mountains are the result of Earth's internal forces. They are often found near the edge of continents. Erosion and deposition by wind shapes sand into dunes. Streets are often named after nearby landforms. A landform is any recognizable feature on Earth's surface shaped by natural causes. Mountains, plateaus, and plains are landforms. These are very large features, but landforms vary in size. A gentle rising hill and a small glacial lake are also landforms. Surface and internal processes shape landforms. On the surface, weathering and erosion break down landforms. Deposition builds landforms from eroded sediment. Below Earth's surface, the movement of molten and solid rock also shape landforms. So surface processes, they happen at or above the surface on the ground so you can see it. Internal processes, they happen within the ground in the crust, so you do not get to see that happen. So if you look at page 141, surface processes are arches, moraines, and caves, and internal processes are faults and volcanoes. And then you can see the processes, what caused those to be created. On page 141, study the chart at the top of this page, then make an entry with information about a landform in Ohio. Make sure you draw or paste a picture after you're finished. Share the information with your teacher or classmates. You are going to draw it. You are not going to print one out. Okay, so you'll have to come back and do that on page 141. On page 142, slow work at the surface. Hello, 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 hello. You hear the spooky echo inside a cave. You wonder, how long did it take for this place to form? The processes that shape landforms work at different rates. Most caves, for example, form slowly over thousands or even millions of years as groundwater dissolves rock near Earth's surface. Besides forming caves, water can also slowly carve wide valleys and deep canyons. A valley is a depression between mountains. A narrow valley with high walls is called a canyon. The walls of the Grand Canyon, for instance, rise more than 1,500 meters above the canyon's floor. Canyons don't have well-developed floodplains. A floodplain is the flat, wide area alongside a river. Frequent floods deposit nutrient-rich sediment on floodplains, which makes them good for agriculture, so for farming. Glacial features. These glacial landforms are characterized by their composition, so what they're made up of. They are made of bits of rock ranging in size from dust-sized grains of sand and clay to car-sized boulders. Holy cow. Glaciers shaped the landscape in much of North America. Gravity caused these ice sheets to flow downhill. They scraped and leveled the land like bulldozers. When the glaciers melted, they left behind mounds of sediment called games, moraines, drumlins, and eskers. The melted glacier water formed the Great Lakes and thousands of smaller lakes called kettles. Landform trek. Rivers form V-shaped valleys. Glaciers form U-shaped valleys. Label these pictures and describe the characteristics of each landform. So what they look like. What would it be like to hike to the top of each of these valleys? Okay, so you're going to label one as U-shaped and one as V-shaped, and then you are going to explain what you think it would be like if you hiked them. Page 144. Fast work on the surface. Landslide. Some landforms can be shaped at incredible speeds. Sometimes surface processes can change landforms in a short time. In the Great Lakes region, for example, severe storms known as November gales produce storm waves. When these waves crash on shore, they erode bluffs, beaches, and dunes. They also can deposit sand just beyond the beach area to form landforms called outwash fans. Along riverbanks, lake shores, and coastlines, water can quickly build or tear down landforms. Page 145. Away from coasts, rivers carry on the work of reshaping landforms. Some rivers, such as Mississippi River, snake through their floodplains along large curved paths called meanders. Strong currents can change these paths. They can erode riverbanks, widening channels. During floods, water can erode the narrow strip of land between closely spaced loops. This results in a new landform called an oxbow lake. Oxbow lakes don't last forever. They shrink as water evaporates and seeps into the ground. In time, sediment fills in the old channel and plants begin to grow. Changing beaches and floodplains. Beaches and floodplains are important natural resources. Use information from this lesson to make a list of processes that can build up and tear down these landforms. Okay, so you're going to answer that. So now go back and answer the question on 145, 143, and 141. All right, good job. Thanks for listening.